Hi all, welcome back to more Unconditional Surrender. This is the Mediterranean 1940 to 1942 scenario. This is my part 4 of the playthrough. I think we've moved on a month, haven't we? Yeah, in fact, I think that's where we are. We're at the start of August. Again, I've got nothing to say, any marker where we are, but yeah, I remember actually watching the last bit back and we managed to squeeze in and finish at turn. So we are at the start of August 1940, which is the second turn of this scenario, which lasts 30 turns, so there's a lot to go, and I still, I kind of left things the other night with a bit of sort of feeling of I needed somebody else to be here. I needed somebody to just make a decision for one and then myself to make the decision for the other, and I was trying to do both and I was struggling a bit. I don't think I made a very good job at all, really. I feel like Force 8 should have some sorties on that, and I just don't know. And I suppose not having played it either doesn't help, but I don't know. I suppose you've just got to kind of play through it and see. But I'm sure there was some things that weren't done very well, for sure. Anyway, I've got quite a few things to talk about. There's been quite a few comments. So, first of excuse me. First of all, I eventually got some answers regarding the situation about declaring war down here on Syria or in Iraq, from Sal, from the designer. I had a comment beforehand from Jason. He says, wondering out loud only, historically, could Syria and the Canal be for supplies, also getting to support the UK efforts in India and Burma as well as incoming supplies to the African troops? He says, I'm not an amateur historian, mind you. So, I did point to this Kuwait, and the Suez Canal's there, so I don't know when he mentions canal. But I did point to this and wonder about this, and it does come back to that. And yeah, I replied to Jason, I don't know, you could well be right, but I still don't know the benefit declaring war on Syria or Iraq in this scenario. I can't quite see the supply benefit, but that's not to say it isn't there. Well, I suppose while we're talking about that one, I might as well find a bit that Sal talks about this. Yeah, okay, so it's in there somewhere. This is in part 1. He's got it marked at he's got a 19, so I'm assuming it's a 19-minute mark. He says the West might declare war on Iraq and Syria in order to open up the transport line from to Kuwait, the Med. So there's Kuwait, and 32 does link into the sea box, and then and it can go right back round to Britain, to the UK. He says that allows supply and units to move along that line, reducing the need to go through the Suez Canal. So, okay, I can see that, but my problem there was, why not just use the Suez Canal? Because what's the problem there? So I can see that opens up another way, but you've got to start a war with Syria and a war with Iraq, and but for the game purposes, is that if that was getting us somewhere, that's good. But I said, what's wrong with the Suez? And I replied to that with, not sure I understand this, but I'm sure you'll be able to explain what is the benefit in not going through the Suez Canal. Cheers. And he says, if an Axis unit is adjacent to any hex of the canal, the West can't use the canal. That could cut off a Western unit in Alexandria. So, yeah, I can see that now. So if he was to if the Italians were to break through here and get any unit adjacent to there, then that would shut that off. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is feasible. I think we're kind of hoping that none of that's going to happen, but see, maybe this is something that's more likely to happen. And I'm afraid don't quite know. I don't quite know the historical outcome of what happened down in North Africa, so I'm not sure about how it all went. I get the feeling Tobruk got taken and then got taken back, but the war, it maybe went on. It started like that, and then but I don't know how far the Axis go, and if they did get to the Suez Canal. So I don't have any of that knowledge. But in gameplay terms, I mean, he's clearly right that a unit could get there and then shut that off. So that gives you another option there. So that's what that's all about. Okay, so coming back to some other things. Yeah, I had a couple of comments from Ramon, who commented on some previous videos I had. He's got these timestamp. This is from part 2. And he does talk, and Sal brings this up as well. And yeah, it starts sinking in. At the 43-minute mark, anyway, if the interdiction of the naval transport was successful, the ground unit would be additionally reduced. See transport below. And yeah, that's one bit I didn't take note of, to be honest. So where does it tell you that? It's going to tell me naval transport. Hang on. Yeah, okay, I'll eventually realise what he's meaning when he mentioned sea transport below. And it's on the play rate chart, and that's the very bottom bit here. So it says transport. If an interdicted convoy unit was transporting a full-strength ground unit, the ground unit is reduced. A reduced ground unit, the ground unit stays reduced. Okay. An air unit, the air unit adds 2 sorties. So that would happen if there was a successful interdiction, and it was the convoy that was involved in the naval combat. However, he also points out later on, at the 1 hour 7 minute 50-second mark, you should now check the escort since you're resolving a combat between the 2 warships at the moment. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. If you've got an escort, and I think Sal brings this up as well. If I've got an escort and a convoy and I'm transporting something, right? Let's just say I've got all the 3 things. Right? I'm transporting a ground unit with a convoy, but I'm escorting it. We have an air-to-air combat. If there's an interception, we have a naval combat. Well, actually, it could be an air unit that's doing the interception, couldn't it? But let's just say, for simplicity, that it's 2 naval units, warships coming and trying to stop our naval transport. Then we have a naval combat. If it interdicts successfully, the enemy naval unit then attempts to interdict the convoy, and remember, a convoy gets a -2 for being a convoy unit. And if it interdicts then and it's a transport, we will carry out that reduction in the strength of the ground unit. Or if it's an air unit, it adds 2 sorties. And that happens throughout. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, we could just be naval rebasing, or we could be tracing supply. If we were tracing supply for a ground unit through a convoy with an escort, it's the same thing. I think I'm saying this right. It's the same thing. You do the battle with the warships, and if the interception isn't successful, then all is fine and the supply goes through. If it does succeed, then you go on to the convoy, and you might fail there, and then the supply goes through. If it doesn't fail there and you're doing supply, it breaks the supply. That basically just says there's a bit about supply. So it says supply line trace fails. Now the convoy and any escorts unit's activation would end there. However, once its activation ends, you put the sorties on, or you would have already put them on for both, because they would have both fought a combat. But then you could activate them again, assuming they weren't at 6 sorties, and try and do the supply again. Right. So it was how I was thinking, but I think I was getting a little muddled because it had a section here about escort and then a section about interdiction, and this is where the supply line bit, and I was where I was getting slightly confused. But I think it's meant. I mean, he has tried to keep all these things quite simple, so they're all quite similar and they all do the same thing, you know. And I think that's how it works here. So hopefully I've got it right. Now, yeah, this one is kind of as I want to say it's caught me out because I don't have the 11 rules, I suppose. Whether that's maybe an excuse or not, might be. Same video made part 2, the 1 hour 15 minute 15-second mark. It says the Italian warship cannot trace supply through the transport line. It says see the exception in blue of rule 7.4.3 living rules. Well, I've not got them. I've not got them handy, and I don't want to go mess about my tablet to find them. Now it's when I decided to trace. Yeah, it was Second Fleet here, wasn't it? And I decided to say, oh, can't he just trace through here along the ground? No, hold on. Why would I be wanting to do that? Well, was that before Force H got there? It was, wasn't it? Hang on a sec. Yeah, it was. It is a unit in Benghazi. It's the fleet in Benghazi. And I remember fleets, warships, whatever they are, they can trace their own supply line. It doesn't cost them a sortie unless they're involved in combat. Of course, they can also use a convoy to trace that. I'm sure I thought about the reason that you might want to do that before, but I'm not sure I can think of it right now. But you can use a convoy to do it, or you can do it yourself. Yeah, right now I'm thinking, why would you want to use a convoy? But because the convoy would incur a sortie, whereas the fleet could do it for nothing. There must be a reason. Okay, we'll leave that one there. Anyway, what I wanted to do was I could trace across to Brindisi or Taranto there. However, this was tracing through Sea Zone 24, and the British could intercept into Sea Zone 24, the supply trace. So then I thought, can I not go down the transport line here, around to here, and then cross the water here in Sea Zone 22 as a supply trace, and that would be fine. I decided to do that. Wasn't 100% sure I could do it. Couldn't find any in the rules. And this is where Ramon's brought it up that it is in the rules, in the living rules, it is an exception in blue. I've not got the exact words in front of me, but it says basically you cannot do that with a fleet. So I would have been able to trace it across to there. I did say at the time, let's just say that if I'm not allowed to do it, if I find out where I'm not, let's just say that the British do not intercept any traces of supply. But now I know I can't do that, so fair enough. He finishes off by telling me I should try the board game arena implementation of USE. It's fully automated, so you cannot barely break the rules. Give it a try. Check the videos of Dren 608. And I replied, yeah, I have watched Dren 608 videos. I've watched quite a lot of them. Yeah, okay. However, I can't use digital implementations of board games. I started my younger life playing computer games. I got right into computers when I was young, and done quite a lot with computers and gaming. And I mean, I know it's probably a far bigger thing now than what it was when I first started getting into it. But you know, I suppose computer gaming was my thing, and then I found out about board games, in particular solo board games, and even more. There are some war games which seem to grab my attention more. Not just war games, actually, just complex. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I like the complexity in games. Give me a solo complex war game, and yes, that's me. I'm sorry. Or solo any kind of Well, I suppose there's that many different board games out there with different themes and whatever. You've got to have an interest in it. So yeah, I've tried it, and don't get me wrong, that board game, I did try it, not for long, because it just felt the same to me, like Vassal, Tabletop Simulator. I want to be on the table. I want to use the physical. I don't know. There's something that just doesn't. I think there's definitely other people like that, because I've heard folk mention something similar. But yeah, Board Game Arena in particular, it's not like Vassal. When you select a unit to move, it'll show you all the places you can move. But in some ways, that takes the bit away from me. You know, it shows you activate an armoured unit, it shows you where you can move to, and it shows you if you move there, how much it costs you to make the attack and everything. I kind of like working that out. And yeah, it means that I will maybe make mistakes sometimes where the board game area won't allow you to do that. But I'm not knocking it. It is a good system, and clearly it's got uses beyond that. I mean, this is a big map, it's a double map, and setting on the table, and I'm stretching away up there. I mean, even if I wasn't recording this, it's a burden to get up into. I mean, you imagine playing the whole thing. You've got the Soviets and that. I mean, they can't be there. So, but anyway, I appreciate that that's out there, and there's loads of folk that do use that. And that Dren608, his videos are really good. He knows what he's on about, that guy. So, I would recommend anybody, if they do get into this game, go and look at some of them. Right, while I'm on this page, this is all Sal's comments regarding Med Part 2. Correct, Palermo is not a port in Season 22. Sorry, I know this is going to go on a bit. This part's going to be... Palermo is not a port in Season 22. Yeah, so it must be in... Well, it tells you there. Because, yeah, it was the hex bit that says 22, but the port, it's in Season 19 and 21. However, it is saying that the actual hex itself is in 19, 21 and 22. But it's not a port. Yeah, and it says that. Okay. He says Sicily is part of mainland Italy, so its cities can provide full supply and our mobilisation locations. So something to remember as well. You can mobilise in Sicily as well. And yeah, it's full supply and whatever. Right, and here's the bit that Sal brings up regarding the escorted combat. He says, doesn't matter what it's related to. Supply, rebase. First you fight the escort, then if the escort fails, the intercepting unit may attack the convoy. So there's a may in there, but I wouldn't think you're going to not may do that. You're not may do that. Yeah. I wouldn't think you're going to not do it. You're going to do it. I think. I dare say maybe there's reasons where you might not. Well, I suppose actually, hang on, because you're going to incur another sortie to do it, aren't you? So you might sort of not want to do that. However, the fact that getting at the convoy, I think, would be good reason. He says, he carries on. Sorry, if there is an air escort and a naval escort, the intercepting unit has to get through both escorts to attack the convoy. Oh, there you go. So you could have an air unit escorting and a naval unit escorting and the convoy, and then before you got down to the ground unit. It says the defender, the one with the escorts, decides which escort fights first. Okay, that's good. Good to know. Right, another comment here. It says, use the submarines for strategic warfare or save it for possible naval combat, ? No matter which you do, it'll be wrong because the subs will fail to make a difference. And he suggests that's what happens whenever he uses them. There's no right way to use them, it says. It depends on the situation. And even if they may not make a difference based on how the die roll works, yeah. I think I chose not to use them in the strategic combat, but we got the result there, so it meant I did use them in one of the other naval combats, didn't it? But I mean, that's just a one-off use, isn't it? I felt like I was annoyed because I had talked about using it when Force H made an appearance, and then I'd used it already, hadn't I? But He says, as you surmised early in the scenario, they'll virtually guarantee an Axis win in strategic warfare. On the other hand, if they help prevent the Western Navy from interdicting a supply run, that may make a huge difference in the land campaign. So there's a little clue there. On the other hand, if they help prevent the Western Navy from interdicting a supply run, so like chucking something into Force 8, Force 8 is trying to intercept. Well, it's not trying to intercept it. It's intercepting and it's trying to interdict a supply trace that the Italians are making. Then we chuck the submarines in and it spoils that plan, and then we get the supply and all is good. So, yeah, and you can see that it's going to be a struggle for the Italians to trace the supply, and that's kind of why this should have been hit, really, shouldn't it? I mean, okay, First Fleet would have been piled up with sorties right now, but at least Force H would maybe have 2 or 3 sorties on it, maybe. We should have just battered that. And to be honest, the little bit that Sal and the other guy had done, the other guy had played the Italians, and that's what he done. And I've not taken any heed of that. I maybe wish it had been Sal that had been playing that part, and I would have been sure that was the right thing to do. Because we didn't see much more after that, is what I mean. I'm not saying he wasn't doing the right thing and he didn't know what he was doing or anything like that. I just mean we didn't see any outcomes after that. Or we didn't see much more after that, is what I mean. Okay, quickly trying to see if there's any more. The home defence policy doesn't apply. Scenario rules tell you which apply. You know what? I was scratching my head a bit and like wondering, but they're under policies. So, but then I said to myself, well, the previous scenario we done, that training scenario 4, it didn't have mention the policies. Right, I need to find the med one. Hang on. It tells you there what policies apply. And most of these small scenarios are something similar. They don't include the home defence. There's no mention of home defence policy. That's where it would be telling you there. So I thought training scenario 4, but training scenario 4 just just takes you to the setup of the main event. Where's the main event? Further on. Here, right? And I thought, well, I seem to remember there being, but if you look at the policies here, it says all policies. Because I started thinking, did that mean I could have brought that German air unit across from the east because home defence wasn't in place, but it was, because we were following the rules for this, and it says all policies are in effect, so the home defence was in effect there, and so that's confirmation that home defence is not in effect, and we could have moved that air unit away, and you can see there's nothing else shown over there, and it's just because, if you remember rightly, the north of this line, nothing's in play. The only exception is that Plymouth is a supply trace. But everything above that green mild weather line or whatever it is. Fair weather, mild zone. It's a mild zone, isn't it? I think. So, so that was that. Yeah, I think that's that. So that might be everything. This was a more recent one. Sicily is part of, done that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a good idea. I like this one. I'm going to do this. That was another thing from Ramon, although he's edited this post, and I've just seen this other bit he's edited. Can catch you out that if somebody edits a post after you've read it, I don't think you get any kind of notification in that, which is kind of annoying, because I only seen it because I looked at it again. He says the North Atlantic and South Atlantic boxes are connected. Yeah, sorry. I when I done my trace from Plymouth, I went into Sea Zone 7, then eventually realised that the North Atlantic box was connected to 7, so I went in there for another 3, so that was 4. I then went into Eastern North America before I went down to South Atlantic. But you can see this arrow connects to that line. We don't need to go into the Eastern North America box. So I could have saved 3 movement points. And then, so I could have went from the North Atlantic Ocean box straight down to the South Atlantic Ocean box. So I would have spent 3 movement points less. It didn't matter in that case. I still wasn't making it in the 1 activation. So I would have had to activate the air unit again and the naval units to do it. And the wee thing that he's edited, he says, interception cannot occur across a strait. Now, let me watch that because it's got a timestamp. Right, it was me talking about trying to sneak through the strait here between Sicily and Italy, which I don't think I can do. He's not mentioned that I can't do that. But he said that interception cannot occur across a strait. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I was told we would try to go around the back and avoid the fleet. I think it was a daft thing to think about, and I'm pretty sure I can't come through that strait with a British unit because it's an enemy strait, isn't it? Like I say, that's not been talked about. All he said is interception cannot occur across a strait. So, but if you're moving from season 21 to 22, are you saying you can't intercept between them moves? I don't know. I'll leave that one there. And we'll see. Right, and then the last one was, I like this idea. So I'm going to get... This was from Sal. As a reminder of timed special rules... I did have it open. Go back here. Find the Mediterranean. Here we go. He says, consider putting pro-Axis and pro-Western markers on the turn track in their respective months. For example, a pro-Axis in September 40 and a pro-Western in March 41. Yeah, and what he's meaning there is the special rules say that in the September 40 strategic movement phase, the Axis faction removes 1 Italy convoy unit. So September 40... there wasn't anything in there. If I put a pro-Axis marker in there, part of me actually wants to, but I should remember now that there's also a special rule. No, Grant. Yeah, there's a few ones. I mean, you've got the starting April 41, or any later turn the Western faction may declare war, but you can't really mark that. You just got to try and remember that. The other one, at the end of November 41 turn, USA becomes a Western country. At the end of the November 41 turn. Yeah, I don't really want to put a marker up there. Well, actually, could you not? Is there any USA markers? Well, they don't have control markers, do they? No. Right, he's meaning more the one that I've just marked there anyway, because that is when the Axis remove an Italian convoy unit, and then November of 40, it's going to go back. So should I put a marker there as well, or is that going to be a bit too confusing? And then I think it's more meaning like when you take it away. And then a pro-Western one for March 41, when that's when the WDF goes away. March 41. And then, well, it'll come back on in June 41. No. Yeah. And then September 42 is removed from the scenario. Yeah, so there's quite a few. So June 41. I guess it's bringing to your attention though, isn't it? And I'm going to mark that one. I'm going to mark the September 42 as well. That's when one UK motorised unit is removed from the scenario, left to prepare for Operation Torch and upgrading to the First Army. And then it says the UK ground unit can upgrade. I'm not sure. We need to know more about that one. So if you want to comment on how that goes about, Sal, because I mean, that's saying that, well, I suppose it's September 42, so we lose our WDF, but we can upgrade. I'm confused to how that works. Maybe you can clear that one up for me. And I think I will put another one, because starting with August 40, no, is that not where we're at now? It is, yeah. So starting with August 40, so we're in there now. This is when the Axis can carry out an amphibious invasion, and they don't need a surprise attack marker. Did I mark September 42 then? Yes, well, pro-Western marker. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's quite a good idea. I mean, it's just to bring it to your attention, and you sort of say, "Oh right, why?" I might say, "Why is that there?" And then I'll be able to go and look. Yeah, the other one about the American joining the war, though, I think that could catch me as well. Where is that? At the end of November 41 turn, the USA becomes a Western country. Thing is, they get checked at the beginning of the turn, so I don't know if I can try and maybe put one in between there to say it's at the end of. That's maybe going to like totally confuse me, but if it's something that I sort of say, right, why is that there, I can maybe then go and look at the special notes, because that's what they're referencing as the special notes. So that's a good idea. Right, let's see if I can add a little bit of gameplay to this 32-minute part already. So we're starting a new turn. So weather, it is August, so the weather's still fine, fair. So all is good there. No need to worry about things. Right, now, remember the Axis do have that chance that, like, they don't need to use it this turn. They just have a chance to use it between now and the end of the scenario. But I suppose, because you've got August and September guaranteed to be fair weather, is it something they should consider? Right, well, anyway, we've got a couple of steps to go through before that grant. So we don't need to adjust the weather. Declare war, no, we can't do that. Or can we yet? Well, the Axis can. Why did I just close the book? Just keep it open at the Mediterranean grant. Starting with April 41 or any later turn. Yeah. So no, there's no declaring a war from any side at the moment. Economy, right? Let's deal with that. I think a lot of it got used up, didn't it? And obviously the British lost another factory in the warfare. So for the Axis, remember the Germans have unlimited, so they can pass one on to the Italians, which they will do. The Italians have 6 factories still, so we double to 12 and get the one from the Germans to give them 13. The British have 9 factories, however they've got 2 lost, so that's 7, so that only gives them 14. And you can see that going down even further is going to really hamper them from, well, yeah. And this is another reason why I should have hammered Force H. And yeah, anyway, well, we've done it now. We'll learn. Right, so strategic warfare now. Now we use the submarines, so there's no events that we can use. So yeah, it's not a straight up die roll, because the Germans, the Axis have using their own dice, have a +3, because they are they've got the port in Brest and C Zone 7, and they've got an air unit in port in C zone 3 or 4. So they get a +1 for one of them and a +2 for the other. So it's a +3, and like I say, yeah, there's no markers to use. This is where the USA would help. Is it a +3 they get? Where does it show you that? That's down there, the purple bit, Grant. Oh, right in the glare. +2 it says if USA is a Western country, right? You might not be able to see it, but it's a +2. But that doesn't kick in until the end of 41. So yeah, so with a +3, the grey dice is, and their class is the attacker for this. The grey dice is the Axis roll, and the blue dice is the Western. So here we go. Oh, they've got a 6. Oh, they've got a 5 against a 6 though. Oops. So maybe a diamond. Remember, a diamond's what they want. So I don't know though. 8. It's gonna be close, isn't it? So an 8 to a 6. Oh, it is just a diamond. So that was a good result for them, for the British, because it is a diamond, and then, well, a diamond does decrease the factory loss marker value for both Germany and the UK, basically. So that's very good. It's exactly what they wanted. So even with the +3, it didn't work for the Axis that time. And we're not tracking Germany's factory loss marker, so that goes back to 1. So they'll gain 2 more from what they had this turn. Excellent. Right, strategic movement. Well, for the Axis, they've got the strategic movement marker out there because we brought this down, but I think we've realised we don't really want to bring that across the water. It just it feels like there's enough going on across here. Fair enough, have it there. Well, I think what I'll probably do is maybe switch. The thing is, you got to watch your production, you know. Just activating any one of the units could be, it's costly, isn't it? Well, I mean, it costs 1, but you might need that 1 to get some sorties back. So, yeah, as strategic movement wise, yeah, I don't think anything's moving. The British don't really have anything to do. And this was the other thing, is that I was thinking afterwards, I mean, I got aggressive with the Italians, and then, remember, the British have got to knock the Italians out of there. But I mean, then again, there's 30 turns, Grant. But what did the British need to wait for? Well, knocking the Italians out of supply, maybe, I suppose. The fact that they've realised, oh, Force H is getting to do what it wants, because these Italians are not interested in stopping anything it does. We'll just sit back here in Alexandria and put our feet up and let them come to us. But that's what I seem to have done. But, well, we've started it that way. There's not much I could have done. Well, what I could have done was I could have moved and tried to attack the Italian 10th with the WDF. Here's the other thing. I mean, it's a wee while to go, and yeah, we've talked about it, and I've put a marker on the track for that now. What is it? Is it March 41? This goes away. What do we do then? Like, all we've got is garrisons. That's not nice. So I don't know what we do though. I mean, yeah, that's a few months away yet, but I don't think we don't. I think I've looked already. I don't think we get any other. Well, hang on, what's that? Right, okay. I didn't notice that. You get the British Expedition Force, Grant, in November of this year. Right, I missed that. I did start thinking to myself that, you know, they can't leave you with no full strength units, surely. Right, we get that in November, okay. And that's obviously still a few months before that one goes away as well. Well, in fact, it doesn't need to be that one that goes away. So that maybe balances, right, okay. So you've got 2. One goes away, you've got 1. The other one comes back, you get 2 for a while. And then the other one goes away, and then you've got the option to upgrade the other one. That's what it'll be. That makes sense now. That's why I couldn't grasp the fact that how can the one go away and you have the chance to upgrade it. That's because there's 2 of them. You should have known that. You played with them both in the last game. I guess because that's not true. I was going to say one was down here and one was up there in France, but that's not true. They were both up in France, as it was pointed out to me that why were these down here? They should be up by France. Well, yeah, they're back down here again. France has been taken this time. So okay, that makes some sense. Yeah, but I wasn't really sure about going into attack. And of course, we need to get our air unit down here. They brought theirs down, and we've both got the tanks event, but that could just be used on a one-off and balanced, you know. Now, the UK has a surprise attack marker. The Axis has the option to do an amphibious invasion. I have no idea where I would try and do that. I mean, did I not put... Oh no, I was looking here. See, in Port Said, we don't have a ground unit in Port Said, which might be foolish. But then I've not got enough ground units to cover them all, have I? Well, maybe that unit I put in Cairo, maybe that should have been put in Port Said. But then Cairo is one of the... I don't really want to leave that empty. Well, they can't get past. They can't get down here until they do something like this. But right now, if the Italians wanted to try it and had a unit like, for instance, this unit here in Benghazi could activate with this convoy and this escort and attempt to... Oh no, could it? No, it can, because it can only... In fact, I'm not right in saying that the Axis can only amphibious assault into one sea zone. And this is the one that the Western faction can do 2 sea zones, and the Axis can only do 1, I think. Yeah, page 21 of my rulebook. Again, I'm just looking at my paper rulebook, so this is probably an area where there might be some errata, but 6.3.2.2 amphibious invasion range. The Axis or Soviet factions can invade a hex in the sea zone containing the activated units. The Western faction can invade a hex within 2 sea zones of the activated units, i.e. the sea zone they occupy or an adjacent zone. A Western unit in a map box can invade a hex in an adjacent sea zone. Okay. So it says the Western faction can invade a hex within 2 sea zones. Oh, sorry, I'm not reading that properly. The Axis or Soviet factions can invade a hex in the sea zone containing the activated units, and the Western faction can invade within 2. So, in actual fact, if I wanted to try and do Port Said right now, I would need to be in Rhodes. Would work, I think. Yes. That's Italian. So, I could go to Rhodes and then make an amphibious invasion attempt into Port Said. And if it was successful, the unit would just stroll in there. But for me to get to Rhodes might not be a big problem. Why is Rhodes? What does Rhodes say? It says straight sea zones 26 and 27. I don't know. No, hang on. It's because it's an island, isn't it? That's the thing, yeah. That's why it's Malta like that as well. It's got the blue... Well, that's... No, Malta hasn't. Malta has the blue lines not right round about it. Why is that different then? I mean, if I was in roads, it looks like I'm in C-Zone 26. And C-Zone 27. So am I not in C-Zone 25 then? In roads, maybe? Something to do with these wee dotted lines. These are different dotted lines, aren't they? Yeah, that's... The lines around Malta are the same. That's them. But these lines are dotted. Where does that... Does that give you any help with that? Maybe up in the terrain. I'm going to have to go up to the other side of the table to look at it, I think. Right, the borders are the international border. And that's the C-Zone border. What is that? What's Malta got around about? It's got an international border as well, and it's just not got any... I'm a little confused about that. Maybe the rulebook would be worthwhile digging into for, just to get some examples maybe with that. Well, you're looking at it now. Hang on. I want to say that because, I mean, let's just have a wee... I was just looking down here at Tobruk. Now, there's no... Tobruk's just a port. There's none of the blue lines. So this is clearly in... Well, it's in this C-Zone 25. Well, when I say it's in it, that's its C-Zone 25. Right, and that's all. So am I right in maybe thinking that if it's... Well, let's come... Sorry, I know I'm jumping about there. If we look at Alexandria and just move these out of the way, it does have two little blue dots, blue dashes, that side and that side. And that tells me that it can be in C-Zone, it's 25 and 26. And that's why it's got that. Because if it was like Tobruk, it wouldn't need that. It would just be in the one C-Zone. That's telling you that there's two C-Zones. So if we then take that up to roads again and look at that, this bit around the back is the international border, which yeah, because that's a straight. That's a straight. So this is only a bit that is controlled by Italy. The straight joins this land hex. Well, it joins that to that, and this is what is this? Turkey. This is Turkey. So this is that's why there's an international border around that to say that that's Turkey. And these two hexes, although they're part of Turkey, they're not accessible. But that's why the lines are there. And these lines here, I've got one on that side, which tells me that it's C-Zone 27. One on that side tells me that it's C-Zone 26. And the two here tells me that he's got access to C-Zone 25. Just tell me if I've got that wrong. But so if it was in roads, I think you've got access to all the A3 C-Zones. And it looks kind of, it's a port, it's an island port, so it should have access to them all. I mean, Malta is the same, isn't it? Where's Malta? See, what's Malta got? See, it's got that's the international borders. Well, why are they there though? They're in the sea. I don't know. See, there's none of the blue line. Yeah, because Malta's only in one C-Zone, Grant. That's why there's no C-Zone borders, because there's only one C-Zone, 22. Not quite sure why the international border bit needs to be there though. It's got Malta, UK, and then that. It's because it's facing Italy there, but I don't know. Okay. Anyway. Right, so it does sound like the Italians could consider something like that, or like moving that to roads. They would have to then reach there, and then successfully, and then try and do that. But bearing in mind, I mean, if if my mind doesn't consider that that's what they're trying to do to get to roads to start with, and I just say, right, let them get to roads. Let's just say I let them do that without trying to intercept, then, well, the thing is, well, they'd have to move into C-Zone 24 first, and I could intercept them there with Force H, or, in fact, or the Med Fleet, couldn't I? And then they'd have to go, and if the interception succeeded for me, or the interdiction succeeded in here, they would have to then end themselves in a port, probably just back in Benghazi. If however they got through that one successfully and then they moved into C-Zone 25, I try to intercept them again, and let's just say that that did succeed, they could then move themselves into roads. Then they built up another 2 sorties, and then they want to then try and amphibiously invade Port Said. I'll tell you what though, Force H wouldn't be able to intercept that, would they? Because that is in C-Zone 26. So you would not 1, 2. Sorry. No, Force H can only go 1, 2. It can only intercept in there. It can't reach 25. However, the Med Fleet is here, and he could certainly intercept in 25 and in 26. And not only that, we've got an air unit in right, what have I done? No, that's right, that's in Port Said, yeah. We've got this air unit as well, which could attempt to intercept it as well, couldn't it? I think. See, I just don't see that sort of succeeding, but should we maybe try it? I suppose we maybe should just try it to see, yeah. Well, you don't need to do it this turn, maybe. I've just noticed this video's at 52 minutes, and I've not really done anything yet. I think it seems a bit crappy, but I think I'm just going to cut this video. I'm not quite sure still what I'm going to do here. So the fact that it's up to almost an hour and I can't even make a move yet. I'll put a wee comment in the header about this one, just being a discussion of some of the things that have come up, and yeah, sometimes wonder like must put folk off if they're wanting to watch the video and there's no gameplay in it at all. But I want to make sure I'm getting these things right, and I want to be careful about them, and I want to understand them. Yes, you could say, well, why not just do that off camera, read the comments, deal with it all, but I don't know, it's part of the game, trying to explain, I've thought something. I can't just sort of not tell you what the reason that I've realised this, because I've been told by the designer that that's how it works. I can't just skip by all that. I don't think. That's not how I've done it anyway, so I think I'd be better just marking that we're on the I thought I had a little cube across here. I do. Marking that we're on the Axis operations phase, and we've still not worked out what we're going to do. Yeah, I think that's better. I think my head's starting to struggle a little bit after just talking about all this and just trying to work it out. I really need a better frame of mind, I think, when I go into these, and I did when I came in the day. I was working early this morning though at work, so that's probably not the best time to come and do this. But I've got time to be able to do a little bit, so I thought. But I knew I had a few things to discuss. I knew there was a few comments, so I wanted to go through them all, and now I'm at a stage where I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm talking about this amphibious stuff and whatever. Maybe I just need to sit back and put the camera off and have a look at it and have a think about it myself without just putting the camera on and just sitting there staring into white space and not really knowing what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll go with that one. We'll go with a part that's not got any not got any gameplay. Well, I did do the economy phase and the strategic warfare phase, I suppose. But yeah, that's not really what you're here for, no doubt. Okay, I'll try and get my head together and maybe see if I can come back later. But I think I need a more fresh day to be try to do this, to try go forward with us, and starting to worry that things might be getting to me a bit. But we'll see. I'm going to persevere, for now anyway, and see we go. And the thought of another 28 turns. Yeah, this is just turn 2, isn't it? I'm definitely going to have to sort of get my wits about me and start doing things, whether they're stupid things or not, just start doing them. But it didn't help having the stuff to talk about there that I wanted to talk about. So maybe if I would just able to press, and that's not me saying to you, look, don't make any comments, because then I've got to talk about them. I clearly want the comments. I want to understand the game and want to do it properly, because that is the main reason, along with me having fun. So they two things are the main thing for me. I don't care about winning or losing them, but well, this is a 2-player game anyway, so I'm guaranteed to win or lose. Win and lose. Okay. Right, I'll be back when I've got a fresher head on me, I think. Okay, cheers.